Welcome back, everyone. It's me, Mr. 4K Upscaler. So recently I saw this video from Ryan McCaffrey on Xbox Unlocked, which is part of the IGN. And there was a debate regarding the Xbox Series X. Did I just say 360? Anyway, there was a debate regarding the Xbox Series X. Ryan McCaffrey basically said, it's been 5 years. Don't you think it's time that we cut the price on the Xbox Series X after 5 years? Because we're going into 2025 now. Well, Destine Legarie doesn't, think that. And he tried to explain his reason why he doesn't agree with that. So let's listen to this, and then I'm going to give you my opinions and thoughts on it and what do I think. So let's go watch this video really quick.
Damn price of the console. And I'm specifically looking at the Series X here. I mean, it's time. We are in year 5 now. It's year 5. Come on. Let's get more people in the door. Everybody knows price is a huge motivating factor. The Series S has been successful. It has gotten people in the door. But let's get that Series X price down a little bit, shall we?
Yeah, this is fantastic B-roll, by the way. Probably the best I've ever seen. I just wanted to say I actually don't agree on this one, Ryan.
Okay,
and the reason I don't agree, it's coming strictly from a dollar value perspective. The dollar just isn't as valuable as it used to be, and they just did a big Christmas sale. So I don't think they can right now. And I think we're going to be potentially in this console cycle a little bit longer than we initially expected, given the fact that the PS5 Pro just launched at $700. Yeah, so I don't know that they're going to be able to reduce the price of the console, even though that would be a great pro-consumer thing to do. It's not selling as well as they had hoped, I would imagine, based on the numbers that have leaked throughout the years. And
what makes sales go up, Destin?
A sale does, but when you're selling at a 200% loss compared to what you were year over year, like they're already 30% down on sales. So like if the units were selling a little bit better, then maybe they could do something. But I don't look, I am a pro consumer guy at my heart of hearts. That's what I'm always harping on about. So would it be super pro consumer if they did it? Absolutely. I'd be like, go Microsoft. That was a really great pro consumer move. But if you put on your business hat, how does losing $200 make sense for them?
Wait. Where did this number of 200? Are you saying they're losing $200 per console?
They're losing money every console shipped. We know that. So if they let's say they increase that percentage,
I'm not trying to poke you here. That's news to me.
So every console is usually sold at a loss. PlayStation announced that they broke into profit after the console launched about a year into it, and then they raised the price of the console. Microsoft also has been struggling with the dollar being soft in Japan and territorially. But as far as I know, consoles, and this is I thought was common knowledge, are sold at a loss.
They are generally, but that is not necessarily the case every single time or now. It's going
where Ryan McCaffrey is coming from, and also get it where Destin is coming from. I feel sorry for the guy in the middle. He's just like, I have nothing to say. The poor guy in the middle. But anyway, look, I just want to say this. I'm always pro-consumer, and I always will be pro-consumer. And I always believe if you can adjust the price to sell something, then go for it. But here's the point that I think Ryan McCaffrey is missing about the Microsoft business model. The Microsoft business model, even though they have Xbox Series X and that's their top tier console, right? their main focus, it's not to push the sales of this console. They are okay with $500 price tag. They are okay with what they're selling with the Xbox Series X. They also have other models of Xbox consoles. They got the digital Xbox Series X. They got the Series S. So this is their 5-year-old console, yes, but they feel that they don't have to cut the price because they have all these other models that you can choose from. And they also have options for you to play these games. You know, if you can't afford this console, well, then there's other choices. You know, you have, MetaQuest 3, you have Amazon Fire TV Stick. You can go through cloud. You can go to your tablet, phone, etc., right? You have other options. You got Series S, you got Xbox Series X digital. You have other options. You have a PC, you got a gaming laptop. So their focus, it's not to sell Xbox Series X and push the sales of Xbox Series X. If that was their main focus, they would have cut the price on it already. That's not their main focus. They are okay with what they're selling this console at, because it is a choice. If you want our top tier console with a 4K Blu-ray player, we have it, but it'll cost you $500. And also you have to take into consideration what Destin was talking about. The economy right now in the world, it's not that good, especially here at home in America. Let's just be honest. The economy is not looking too good. The inflation's too high. The unemployment, it's through the roof. It's like ridiculous. You can't even find a job. Look at me. I've been looking for a job for a year, and I still can't find it. All right, so the economy is pretty bad. You have the dollar really lost its value. It's not what it used to be. So, now on top of that, you got all these tariffs that's going to be put into place in 2025. See how that's going to affect the economy, right? So you can expect Xbox to lower the price of this due to all of these things that I just mentioned, due to the economy, inflation, and all these tariffs coming out. They have to manufacture these consoles. That costs money. Where do you think the parts are coming from? China, made in China. Okay? So you have to think about that, right? And second, the dollar has lost its value, let's just be honest. The high inflation, the unemployment. So, and on top of that, you look at Sony. Sony's not dropping the price on their PS5 Slim. They're still charging you $500 for it. They're not dropping the price on their PlayStation VR 2. You still have to pay $600 for it. $550 plus tax, $600. You look at their PS5 Pro. It's just a digital version. It's $750. That's with tax. It comes to $750. I know it's a $700 console, but after the tax, it comes to $750. If you're in Europe, it's 800 quids, 850 quids with a tax, right? If you're in London, if you're like in some parts of Europe, it's $800. So, I get it. I agree with Ryan McCaffrey. It would be nice if they could cut the price on the Xbox Series X, but that's not going to happen because due to all of these things that I just mentioned, due to the economy and the inflation, they just simply cannot do that. They're in business of making money. Listen, man, they're not in a Red Cross charity. They're not they're not UNICEF, okay? They're in business of making money. These corporations like Microsoft, Xbox, and Sony PlayStation, they're in business of making money. And I know this is difficult for people to understand, but that's maybe you need to go to a business school. Maybe you need to go to and learn the economy and how it works. Learn about the budget. They have a certain budget that they need, and they already wasted a bunch of money on buying these studios and whatnot, so they need to make some money back. Like I said, Xbox main focus, it's the service. Their main focus, it's not the console. I mean, they have specifically explained this, and I don't know why Ryan McCaffrey is having a difficult time understanding this. Xbox, it's a service. Xbox Series X console, it's an option if you want it. It is their top tier console. It comes with a 4K Blu-ray, has 12 teraflops. All of the Xbox games will run the best on the Series X. But it'll cost you $500. But you don't have to buy it. You can buy the Series S. It's a down-powered, but, you can still play these games at the lower resolution. Then you have the digital Xbox Series X digital, okay, which is a little bit, cheaper, but it doesn't have a 4K Blu-ray player. So there are options out there, okay? There are options. I think they have a digital. Don't they have Xbox Series X digital? I think they do. And I think it's a little bit cheaper. I don't know how much cheaper, but I know it's a little bit cheaper. But the point being is, you have options. You can go and play your games on the cloud. You can go ahead and play your games on this thing, on the MetaQuest. You can go to your Amazon Fire TV stick and play your games there. You can go on the xCloud and play it from your laptop or your Chromebook or whatever, or connect your Chromebook to your TV and play games there on the xCloud. So they're giving you options. So Xbox, it's focused on the service. They're not focused on pushing the sales of Xbox Series X. Okay? And that's why they're not going to cut the price, because their main focus is the service. Their main focus is not the console. I think they made that abundantly very clear. Now, they do have different consoles. They have, Series S, the Black Edition with the 2 terabytes. They have the digital version without the disc, right? I think it's a little bit cheaper. I don't know how much cheaper. I haven't looked into it. Maybe you guys can leave a comment down below. Let me know. They have other options. They also have the cloud. They have Amazon Fire TV stick. You can also play through GeForce Now if you want. Play these games through GeForce Now, or you can go on the MetaQuest and play through MetaQuest. You can play it on your Chromebook, on your tablet, on what have you. So their focus is service. Their focus is not, let's push the sales of a console. So I totally get it why they're not cutting the price on the Xbox Series X. But anyway, let's continue.
To be when the tariffs kick in 2025.
Well, but they haven't. Yeah. That hasn't happened yet.
I'm just, the only point I'm trying to illustrate, Ryan, is twofold. First, I agree with you from that would feel really good perspective. That would be super pro consumer perspective, right? But from a reality perspective, what we're going into in 2025 is there's going to be component tariffs. Components are rising as fewer devices like this are being developed, especially ones with disk drives. There's a whole story about disk drive components going up in price because fewer places are using them as more places go all digital. And it's just, I don't know that they can do it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay,
it would just make little business sense, I think.
I found, and to your credit here, I found what you were referencing. So this is from 2022, November, so 2 years ago. According to Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer, Microsoft loses as much as $200 on every Xbox it sells. According to CNBC's write-up of a recent, and again, this is 2 years ago, so of a 2022 Wall Street Journal Tech Live event, Spencer disclosed that Microsoft subsidizes the production cost of a new Xbox by about $100 to $200 per console. So now, thank you. I know where you're coming from.
Yeah. So they're already losing $200.
But that was 2 years ago, though.
The dollar across the globe, 2 years ago, we were like living it up because it was COVID times and games were selling like hotcakes. They have just constantly seen console sales decline. And that's why I don't think that PlayStation or Xbox have lowered their price. They raised their prices, which is unprecedented, and I don't like it. But there are the business realities of like, I don't know how much of a loss they can take on every one of these consoles. And even the holiday cut, it was like $50 for PlayStation. Yeah. I think it was comparable for Xbox. I don't see it happening in the near future, especially if those tariffs kick in. So components cost more, the dollar's worth less. They're already losing money on the hardware. They're not selling as much hardware.
Listen, I gotta agree with Destin. He makes good points, you know. Well, the points that Destin makes are facts, while Ryan McCaffrey has wishful thinking. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, look, I agree with both of them. I would love to see price cut, especially for a guy like me who's struggling financially, and I know you guys out there are struggling financially as well. It's a pretty bad time. 2024 just sucks. Can't wait for this year to be over. We'll see what 2025 brings, right? Keep my fingers crossed. And look, I would love to see Xbox Series X cut the price on their consoles. I would love to see PS5 Pro cut the price on their console. But these are wishful thinking. That's a fantasy. You know, you're living in a fantasy bubble. You're living in a fantasy bubble, and you know, you got to burst that fantasy bubble. You got to come to reality. Reality check is, here's the situation we're in. It's costing him a lot of money to buy these components from AMD and to build these components, and they're losing money on it, $200 per console, and they're not really selling that well. And now you're asking them to cut the price on top of, you know, considering how bad the economy is and the inflation and the value of the dollar. It's like, it's laughable at this point. So, like, you know, you have to be realistic. You know, you have to look at it realistically. You can't just like have some wishful thinking. You know, like I said, I would love to have a Ferrari. I would love to have a brand new Ferrari, but guess what? It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. I would love to have a big giant mansion with Ferraris and you know, 10 beautiful Victoria's Secret girls rubbing all that lotion oil on my chest, you know. But it ain't gonna happen. Okay? So let's just, like in Monte Carlo, like I'm on a yacht in Monte Carlo and 10 Victoria's Secret girls are just putting all that lotion oil on me. But that's not gonna happen. All right. So let's burst out of our, you know, a fantasy bubble. Let's just come back to the reality. And I think that's essentially what Destin is trying to tell Ryan McCaffrey. We get it. It's been 5 years, but people forget when these consoles were launched. They were launched during the worst time, pandemic. And pandemic really, you know, changed everything. Changed our economy, changed everything. Those first 3 years were brutal time. Not just for the America here, for the Europe, for the rest of the world. It's been just very bad. And now we're coming out of the pandemic, right? And now we're trying to get back on the saddle, and things are still sucky, you know. So don't expect Xbox to cut the price on the console. And another thing, which I have pointed out, the main focus of Microsoft is really not the console. And I think I talked about this on my previous video, where I talked about that 2024 is the year of Xbox Game Pass and the value that the Xbox Game Pass has. That's because the strategy of Xbox right now is to focus on the service. That's really all they're focused on. They're not really focused on the console. I mean, the console is an option. If you want it, it's there. You can purchase it. You have that option. We have different variation models of the consoles. You can go with a Series S, or you can go with our top tier Series X. Okay, one is cheaper, the other one is more expensive. The choice is there. If you want it, you can have it, right? But we're not going to force you. We're still going to give you other options on how you can experience the Xbox ecosystem. And that's something that they're doing so well that the other team, it's not doing. And we're talking about a blue team, which is PlayStation. With PlayStation, like, you only have two choices. Actually, I'm sorry, three choices. PlayStation 5 Digital, $400. PlayStation 5 Slim, $500, and $700. So all you have is three choices: $400, $500, and $700, and that's it. And that's where you at. While here on the Microsoft, it's still more pro-consumer. I know you got to pay $20 a month for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, but look at the value that you're getting. You know, I talked about that. People say, "Oh, it's $19.99. It's $20." Yeah, but you're not having a difficult time paying $20 for GeForce Now, but you're complaining about Xbox Game Pass, $20. I mean, come on, man. Let's be real here. The value that the Game Pass has surpasses GeForce Now any day. Any day. Any day. GeForce Now is limited. Yes, it has a powerful PC, but it's limited. While the Game Pass, it gives you a variety of different choices on how you enjoy their service. And I think Xbox is the only service right now that's doing it right. That it's giving everyone an opportunity to experience the games and Xbox ecosystem with the best possible price point for $20 a month. I mean, think about the value that you're getting with $20 a month. Just think about that. Just look at all the options that you have. Look at all the accolades that you get. That's in this economic times, in this, inflation, high inflation times, in this crazy times we're living in economically, you're not going to find a better deal than Xbox Game Pass at this point. So, but anyway, let's finish this video, and then that's it. I think it's time for me to wrap it up.
At some point, you're just giving the thing away, and just from a business perspective, I don't think they can do it. And I hate to sound like I'm the guy defending big corporate. I'm not. But I mean, like, I sold cookies, right? You want me to give you the cookies for free? Well, I can't. Yeah. How do I pay for anything?
I guess your points are all well taken, and I'm glad. We know you're not trying to defend the $1 trillion corporation here.
Let's say the price of brown sugar, butter, eggs, flour, all of it went up 300%. And you're like, don't change the price. Give me a discount. I feel like, I'm losing $20 every pack of cookies I sell.
Yeah, the technology in a console gets older every year, and thus the components tend to get cheaper every year, and they eventually
right now, unfortunately
reach parity. Yeah. So hopefully, if that's happened, that leaves Microsoft room in 2025 to cut the price. But all of your points well taken.
Yes, Ryan McCaffrey. Maybe you should have done your homework before you decided to do this podcast. Look, Ryan McCaffrey, they're not going to do it. And I already explained, and I think Destin has explained. I think all these points are, like he said, well taken. Well, the points are well taken. Then you should know, Ryan, that Phil Spencer will not reduce that price tag of Xbox Series X. And quite honestly, I think the price is justified. For Xbox Series X, what you are getting for $500 is justified, in my opinion. Now, that's a whole separate video I can do to explain why it's justified. But anyway, let's just be realistic here. Look, it's not going to happen. Don't even dream about it. Xbox Series X will be $500. Remember, the main focus of Microsoft, and I'll say this again before I go, the main focus of Microsoft is to focus on the service. They are not going to cut the price on their Series X. Okay. Maybe in a distant future, when they create a new console called Xbox 3000 or whatever they call it, maybe then you'll see some price cut here and there. But until then, just dream on. It ain't happening. And also don't expect Sony to cut the price on their PS5 Pro. Look, one more thing I want to say before I go. This is a very expensive hobby. To be a gamer, it's a very expensive hobby. Look at these games. $69, $100, $89. I mean, look at these DLCs and how much even those DLCs are costing. Look at these memberships, $20, $18, right? To become a gamer these days, it's expensive. If you're thinking about becoming a gamer, this is a very expensive hobby. And I'm telling you, it's been tough for me, man. As a gamer, this year's been very tough. Because I know, just like, especially me struggling financially without a job, I know just like how difficult it is, man, to enjoy these games. I mean, I missed out on so many games this year because I just simply can't afford to play them. There's an old saying, it's a one thing what I want, and it's another thing what I can afford, right? We all have wants and dreams and fantasies, right? But that's a fantasy. Oh, I want this. Oh, I want that. Yeah, well, why don't you just, wake up from that fantasy land and come back to reality? This is my budget. This is all I can afford. And you got to stick with that budget. So same thing with Microsoft. They have to stick to their budget and their business, and they have to look at the economics. They have to look at the current, situation in the world, trade, and the tariffs and between China, here, Canada, Mexico, et cetera, and they have to look at all these elements, and based on these elements, they have to make a logical, beneficial decision on what will benefit them as a corporate company. That's just business. Okay, that's just business. I know it's a cliche, but it's true. It's just business. All right, well, there you have it. That's my, opinion about this video from podcast of Xbox Unlocked. But anyway, you guys let me know, what do you think? Leave the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video, and happy holidays. And I'll see you on the next video. We're almost done with 2024, man. Almost done. Next Wednesday, that's it. 2025. All right, guys. Take care. See you in the next video.